Hello and welcome back to Wine List Legends. My name is Harry Crowther. I am the founder of Grain to Grape, and I'm absolutely buzzing this morning to be chatting with the one and only Heath Ball from the Red Lion and Son. How's it going, Heath?
Very well indeed. Yourself?
Yes, not bad at all. I really appreciate you you coming on here. I know you're a busy man with an even busier pub, so I will try not to take too much of the time up. But for anyone that's been walking around North London or London in general with their eyes closed, do you mind just giving us a little introduction to yourself, the Red Lion and Son, and what exactly you guys get up to, please, mate?
Yeah, we're sort of I say gastropub, I use that term quite loosely. Sort of more neighborhood restaurant pub. We're not ultra gastro, you know what I mean? But with a real strong emphasis on wine. Wine accounts probably 60% of our wet sales. So it's a big part of what we do, and it's something that I really love and and really want to champion in the pub trade, really. Sick and tired of drinking craft beer. Why can't we be drinking more wine?
Craft beer or crap wine in pubs. There you go, mate. So I've had, it's one of my favorite,
exactly.
One of my favorite pubs to visit. I'm actually from this part of North London anyway. What's your approach to your wine list? I think your wine list is sick. Absolutely love it. I like the way you sort of, you seem to have gone down the road of what a lot of other operators do, in the sense of, aromatic or fruity or this, but you've just added another layer of sort of originality onto it. So if you just talk me through a little bit about your philosophy and how you write your list.
The list, yeah, I suppose it's sort of like it's all, yeah, cool. The list is quite organic. I'm always changing it. I try and keep it interesting. Try and have crowd pleasers on there, because there's always the people who want to drink Malbec, and there's always, after we are a pub, we can't be too snobby. But also have stuff there that, people always think there's always those people who want to go out and go, even if I'm going to the pub, I've got a wedge of cash in my pocket and I just want to drink something classic, whether it's Bianchi Santi or some Bordeaux. So I try and give them the option. There's, you can drink their house wine, which is really acceptable, Bibi Garitz Casamata at 20 odd quid a bottle, or you can go on a little adventure and go and drink some real crazy stuff and have some fun, But I try and buy off small, independent, family-owned wineries, whether they're organic or biodynamic or low intervention. People who really care about the land and the terroir, well, both the same thing, but look after what they do and really make a song and dance about it. So, like that, really, and it's always like, since we print daily, it's always changing. The list, I can, tomorrow I could buy something, and I've just Fodondo Rosé, I've managed to get my hands on some of that, so that'll be on the list next week. And I'm just always moving around and trying to keep it interesting. So it's never, it's not a laminated piece of paper or it's gone off to the printers and it's, it's going to be like that forever. So it's always growing.
Yeah, you haven't got to change it seasonally twice a year or something like that, in line with your food menu. Love that. And I think how important have you, from a customer point of view, how important is it that you keep it fresh and you keep it changing, but also how's your wine list been received? Because at the end, like what you said, people go to a pub to maybe drink certain varietals, certain styles. So how's that gone down with the locale?
Well, I think since it's, over the years, it started off in the beginning, people were like, you're a pub, boy, you've got so many crazy wines on here. But over time, we've become like we're sort of an oasis for people who enjoy wine, and we get more and more people coming, knowing that I don't work on silly margins. So I'm not whacking 80%, 70%. Some of a lot of my wine list is cash margin. I'll make decent GP on, like I said, the crowd pleasers, the Malbecs, or the people in the Pinot Grigios. But then the other stuff where I've got, like the Bianchi Santi, I think I make 30 quid a bottle or something. It's about that, keeping it like, so people who know about wine come and they bring their friends, like, the craft beer geeks sort of always dictate to their mates which bar they go to. And I'm getting that with wine lovers, and people who really appreciate wine. So they come and, and people in the wine trade look at my wine list and they know what I pay for things. And they're like, man, you're not expensive. So, you're getting all those sort of people who love coming here and love the diversity of the list.
Yeah, absolutely. And I had the pleasure of having a long lunch not long ago with you, and I loved. I mean, we had that. I can remember most of it. It was good fun. I had to play football afterwards as well. But I can. We had this. I mean,
I can't believe.
Tom called it a light red. I called it a dark rosé. The Prophet's Rock. You know, I love seeing wines like this on the list. And again, I think you're doing a good job, a really good job in terms of pushing customer perceptions and pushing customers' expectations in that sense. You know, you've got some chilled reds, so on and so forth. And actually had a really interesting chat with the food marketing group not long ago about sort of, you know, the color of rosé. And I'm sure you tick the boxes with your Provençal styles, but it's just so good to see, you know, in a pub environment, if you like, more of a relaxed environment, that you're sort of pushing those boundaries and you're sort of trying to break away from the norm. So absolutely love that, mate. How do you go about it with staff?
Thank you.
You know, the service was fantastic, but you know, do you have much of a training approach with them? Do you work with the supplier on that? How does that work with you?
Oh, I had a bit of a lag there. You cut out a bit. What was the question?
Sorry, question was just a little bit about training. Obviously, you've got a list that is constantly evolving, which I think is key to keeping your customers engaged. But how do you communicate that with the staff? Do you get support from your supplier, or is it done in-house? How does that work?
Yeah, we get support. We use the Bend them a lot. Most of it, like sole supply, and I use their fine wine department. But yeah, they give us, obviously they do training with the staff, and I've got loads of staff going through the WSET courses. But with new wines, a lot of it's just, here's a new wine, let's drink, let's have a conversation about it. And a lot of it's conversation. So that, you know, they need to try, and they're always trying wines. And so, you know, a lot of them really don't know a lot about wine. So especially the new staff. So it's just getting them engaged and try not to put wine snobbery, you know, like using silly words. Like if you look at my wine list, there's no tasting notes on the wine list. There's more little stories, just so people can have something to, you know, just a little interesting story. Well, you know, I had something recently and I wrote, you know, they've been making wine since the French Revolution. So just so the staff have little stories, and just trying to make it really get away from wine snobbery and just make it really accessible, and try not to scare the staff, especially the new staff. Well, like, it's a big list and they're like, oh, okay, I'm going to learn all this. Take your time, we'll work through it. And there's always someone on hand, you know, like the customer starts going down the rabbit hole of questions. Yeah. I've always got one of the team myself. There's always walking around and, you know, who can help out, you know, and just thinking, we don't mind opening stuff. And if the customer doesn't like it, yeah, we'll swap it. You just want people to be happy at the end of the day. And, you know, it just gives us something interesting to drink after work.
Totally, mate. I love what you're saying there about not having specific tasting notes on your menu. I think that that's where you've got it right in terms of your wine list engineering. Certainly from what I'm seeing is, we've got super mature drinkers in the UK, and people sometimes get put off when they kind of get told what something smells like, or get told what something tastes like. You know, my nose and your nose, two different things. Yeah. So I love the idea of stories. I think it's something nuts, like customers 22 times more likely to remember a wine if your staff tells them a cool story. So, you know, I think just that sort of romantic side of it is all important. And like you said, making sure that the team are tasting, I think is super, super important as well, mate. Cool. Well, what's this might be a difficult question seeing as your list is constantly changing, which I love, but what's your favorite wine, or a favorite couple of wines, or your current favorite on the list?
Oh man, so I suppose it depends on the time of year and the weather. And I really love Prophet's Rock Infusion. That wine Paul Peugeot and myself sort of came up with over drinks in the front garden after trying Derek at Garage's Old Vine Pale. Yeah, and I was saying to Paul, imagine if you did a style like that. That's got a really nice place in my heart, that wine. But I suppose his home vineyard Pinot Noir. They're just, you know, I mean, that's sort of, I call that my house wine. That's what I sort of drink all the time. I really love his wine. I think it's just so super well made, and Paul's such a top bloke as well. So we're mates. So do you know what I mean? And I've been to the vineyard loads of times. So it has a real place in my heart. So probably the home vineyard. All of Paul's wines are exceptional, but yeah, the home vineyard, I think.
Yeah, and I mean, I can relate to that. You know, for me, from sort of Portugal as well. You know, that it's not always just about what your favorite wine is in terms of quality. It's which one you can sort of emotionally connect with the best as well. Listen, Heath, you're a legend. Your list is wicked. Your list is wicked. I'm absolutely buzzing that I got to talk to you. So I really appreciate your time, because I know you're a busy boy, but I will look forward to revisiting.
Pleasure.
And for anyone watching, if you have not been to the Red Lion and Sun, and if you're in London, period, please visit, because it's one of the best wine lists I've seen for a pub, period. So listen, mate, thank you so much. I appreciate your time, and I'll chat to you soon, buddy.
Definitely. Take
All
care.
right, mate.
Cheers, mate.
Thank you, bud. Bye.